would say that if anyone wanted to get something from building memberships, if you really want to scale, don't underestimate the team you're going to need to deliver that as well. Team is going to be important, especially when you're making a transition into the thousands of clients. When you are selling, I believe, online courses or memberships like this, find out who your ideal client is, because your retention will be an effect of that, right? But really, to build a proper business in memberships, you need to have a good membership, you need to have a good product, and that needs to be delivered to the right person. The first thing you want to do is get people into a membership, get that feedback, and evolve as you get the feedback. We are expanding, and Memberium is going to allow us to do that, because with a simple tag, you can hide whatever you want on this sidebar. Like literally, if I go here, there is a tag that you have to add in order to get this bonus content.
Hey everybody, it's Micah Mitchell with Memberium. Welcome to the show. Today we have my friend John Castro, a very successful membership guy. John, welcome.
Thank you, buddy. Thanks for welcoming me. Welcome, everyone.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited because you are another one of those people who is just, you're living it, you're doing it, you're kicking butt. And so I just want to get into kind of what you do and maybe some of what you did in the past and why you switched from it to this and so on. So why don't we just jump off with, kind of, if you'll give a rough explanation of the customers you serve and kind of the product and how you're helping them, I think that'd be a great place to start.
Yeah, sure. I mean, let's start with the company purpose, right? Investment Mastery has been built to simplify investing through education so that anybody can create a financial future and financial independence for themselves. So we're teaching financial education at the level of investing, right? So we're not here to teach you how to save money. We're here to teach you how to take your money and invest it wisely. And that's what our education platform does. So the customer we usually serve, if you're going to talk about like an ideal customer, would usually be, a career professional. We're not a cheap, quote unquote, cheap membership, right? We're not like $10 a month. We're not even $100 a month. We're about £2,000, UK pounds a year. So, it's quite a premium membership. So we serve a slightly more premium, and for choice of a better word, customer than your, everyday person, for example.
Gotcha. And you are, maybe give me a rough idea of what it is you're delivering to them. Is it a giant library of videos? Is it live training, some mix?
Yeah, I love that. So it is a mix. So there's two asset classes that we specialize in, which is stocks investing, so stock market investing. And then we've got, from recent markets, to crypto investing. So we've been doing crypto since about 2017. We launched something called Your Crypto Club when crypto first came to, I would say, the mass market. And you basically choose that asset class and you get a membership login that will have a library of videos, which has a bit of a journey map for you to follow on how to get started, and then the strategies that we're using, how to find the right investments. Once you've completed that, you go into more of a support system, which is community-led, all in the same login, where you watch your live weekly webinars, live support calls every week. So we have that mixture. And then within the membership as well, you also have access to our workshops, which are all virtual now. And we can go into that story in a minute around how we had to make that transition, because we were in hotels every weekend before 2020. And now you can access our virtual workshops as well as part of your membership. And that's all accessible through the online login and membership.
Gotcha. So give the listeners, if you would, an idea of the scale of what you're doing. Are we talking, you have hundreds of members, thousands of members?
Yeah, so we're currently at around 3,500 members internationally. We are predominantly Europe, so 65% of that membership will be UK based. The rest, another 20%, is actually, ironically, Germany. And Germany, just because we actually deliver our training in German as well. We have German coaches, and that's something I inherited, actually, because one of our founders is German. So he decided to deliver some training in German, but then the rest will be Europe and US and Australia. Like there's a mixture there, but predominantly UK and Germany are our most client base. 3,500, that's growing every month at the moment. And yeah, that's where we're at the minute.
That's amazing, man. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been an interesting ride, right? We were about, pre-COVID, we probably had a very small membership, 600, 700. And, we were really lucky that we made that transition. And then now we're fully e-learning now. I haven't rented, I only rent hotels 3 times a year, where we used to do it 30 times a year. So you can imagine it's slightly different now.
Yeah, very different. No, I've done a little bit of the event thing, and and I personally hate doing the hotel thing and live. I mean, I love being in front of a group and teaching them, but the logistics and stuff. So tell me about that. Why, how and why did scrapping the hotels and going digital grow your membership so much?
We had to transition, right? Like overnight, I think the whole world stopped, and we were running conferences. That was our business. We were a seminar business, and you would pay to attend a seminar or attend like a 3-day workshop in a hotel. And we got to a point where you just weren't able to do that with COVID. So we always had an online offering, but it was just more support based. So webinars, not really a place you could log in and watch anything. It was more webinar based, or yeah, mainly webinars. So within literally a space of a few months, I just had to take some action. So I got whoever I could resource wise, and we built out what you're seeing today, but more watered down version of what we call your trading club, which is the stocks trading membership, and then your crypto club. And we started just doing our best to offer, with the love of cam links and capture cards, training virtually, and it just stuck. And then we realized, actually, even post COVID, people are actually wanting this stuff more because they get to stay home. They haven't got to also worry about costs of hotels themselves and flights and all of this stuff. So that transition had to happen, to the point where I'm literally sitting in right now our own self-built media room with inspiration from the likes of, Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi and all of that. We thought, why don't we build one of those? Now, we don't have 16-foot screens here, but we have an abundance of TVs in front of me right now where we just deliver virtual trainings that way. And that took some adjusting. We didn't shrink during the COVID year. We actually stayed the same as a business in regards to revenue. But what did happen is we got a lot more clients in, and then we started jumping on that, because instead of having to deliver like 50, 100 people in a room because walls don't move, we could deliver this to 250 people at one time. And then we just got better and better at delivering virtually. And then I built a team around that. And I built an operations manager who came from the events business, who started learning virtual. I got a content manager who started learning virtual. My sales manager started, and they all started absorbing this new virtual world. And now they're experts in their own right at how we deliver a business virtually, but also the product virtually. So yeah, it was tough times during COVID. And then now, we're out the tough times, I think.
Gotcha. Interesting. So if I'm hearing you correctly, you saw the online as an afterthought, just a support system. And so your staff was really geared for in person. Like you're saying, they all had to learn it.
No, literally. So the ops manager I'm talking about was an events manager. That was her role. Like, just run these things. She came from the wedding industry, right? So she knew how to just put people in a room, organize people, deliver stuff, get paperwork done, get handouts printed. She just knew that game. So to make that transition is a pretty extraordinary thing to ask, but she did it well. Actually, with the help of some people we all may know from Sage Management, I think they're called, where we went on and they started training how to do virtual events. We took on as much training as possible. We're big advocates of education, untraditional education, right? So I paid, and we made sure that we all learn. And yeah, even to the point of understanding DSLRs, which I'm using now, like a GH5, and knowing that this is called a Panasonic GH5. We didn't have a clue before COVID. We were literally using Logitech to do our support training, and now we're at like the highest level you could probably afford. That isn't what you're seeing from like an Unleash Your Power you're within from Tony Robbins.
Yeah, gotcha. This is fascinating to me, because most people, I think, who were in your position, they went out and tried to hire people, right? They're like, oh, we got to hire the people with the skills because we don't know. But it sounds to me like, your people understood the principles and the core of what needed to be delivered, like human to human. So going digital is just a matter of translating it and not making some of the mistakes, right?
Literally. So if you're giving out a handout at a physical workshop, how do we now just deliver the same handout digitally, right? Do we even send it to them, right? There was all of these kind of things that we had to think of. Do we factor in now these delivery boxes, what we might call wow boxes or goodie boxes or whatever people call them, where we absorb that and to, well, actually, if we're paying £200, it was per head, probably per weekend, if not in excess of £300 at some hotels when you go to the 5 stars, times 50 people, we can afford £100 to send and create, let's just say $125 to create a box that we send to people. So we just started thinking quite logically. What I will say about the team is the ability to have a team that adapted was a blessing. There's no doubt about that. They are career driven, young professionals that just got on the ground, taped HDMIs to the floor, and we just all did what we had to do. So I was very lucky, and I will say this to anyone: don't underestimate membership sites that and think that you don't need team. A lot of people, I find, like when you get to 3,000, 3,500, we're going to go to 5,000 probably this year, and then then the 10, and we've got all these big numbers in our vision. You do need good people behind that. You can't play solopreneur when you get to those numbers, because your admin inbox or your inbox just for help of how to get on a webinar goes from 2 emails to 25 just in that 10 minutes of trying to get on, and then you've got to have someone answer them. So I would say that if anyone wanted to get something from building memberships, if you really want to scale, don't think there is massive margins in memberships. For sure, there are big margins in the virtual game, but don't underestimate the team you're going to need to deliver that as well. Because if you definitely want to be an entrepreneur and a CEO like you and I, you don't want to be doing the day to day. I mean, I'm pretty much fed up of looking at HDMI cables, let alone plugging them in and stuff, right? And so I think that's one thing I would say is you're right. Team to be able to help you and support you is going to be important, especially when you're making a transition into the thousands of clients. It was an interesting one for us, for sure.
Yeah, I think some people, they sell a course and they think, oh, if I just sold 10,000 of these, I'd have 10,000 times as much profit. And it's like, well, there's a certain level of support infrastructure that you maybe don't have to have. Sure, you might be able to do it yourself, but the customers are going to feel that, and you're going to feel that. So I couldn't agree more. I love, especially with events, I know live events, having some people around you who can just be relied on, like runners who, like you're saying, even though they might be well educated, they don't mind jumping down and taping a cable down. It's the same thing digitally, where will you come on this webinar and just make sure the recording works? Will you come and be sure our sound is level? Will you, just people who are willing to help, right? So that you and I can focus on the content, can kind of keep the bigger picture in mind. So thank you for sharing all that. I'd love to see your kind of the process. You mentioned to me a little bit that people are typically being sold on a webinar. Can you show us, how do they first encounter your brand? How do they end up on that webinar?
Yeah, sure. So there's actually 2 ways you can. So we don't publicly announce our membership because of the client we're looking to put in there. And that's another point just to point out at this moment, is that when you are selling, I believe, online courses or memberships like this, find out who your ideal client is, because your retention will be an effect of that, right? If you start getting in the wrong client, like especially in the game we're in, the get rich quick client, your retention's going to go down. So we don't open it to the public because of that. So there's only 2 ways you can really join the membership right now, which will evolve in time, and we need to evolve our sales strategy, of course, and our awareness strategy. But really, you can either book a call with one of our team members, and we have a funnel for that, where it's a book a call funnel. You download some sort of tool, and you go to a page, and either you qualified to be able to be booked in based on some questions that we've asked you, or you don't. Or really, where we get a lot of traction, which everyone will be familiar with, is webinars, right? We run a monthly or sometimes bi-monthly, depending on how long we want to wait out, where you join a training. We offer you some free stuff, which is great free stuff. You can actually use it, really, really good stuff. And then we go, look, do you want to spend a year with us to really take this to the next level? And that's where we sell. So I can show you that if you want. Do you want me to show you, like, share my screen and show you some of that stuff?
Yeah, I'd love to I'd love to see it. And if I heard you correctly, you're saying that the webinar itself is the really good training that you provide people?
Yeah, absolutely. So the webinar, we actually don't do 90 minutes. We do like full 5-6 hour trainings for free.
Okay.
And the reason we wanted to do that is to really distinguish ourselves compared to others, right? Like, there's only so much in 90 minutes of even rapport you can build. Don't underestimate. I mean, where most people, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they're probably converting anywhere from 2 to 5% on a 90-minute webinar from cold traffic, where we're converting 7 to 10%. And then we have follow-up which brings in another 7 to 10%. So we do really well because we've spent 5, 6 hours with these individuals. So and we also make sure that they're the right individuals on those webinars as much as possible. So we're really honed in now, and weren't in the beginning. I'll be honest with you. In the beginning, we just like, anyone that would buy this stuff, take it. But then we realized to build a proper business, we had to really hone in on who we're selling to, how we're selling it, and be a little bit more careful, I would say, and cautious on that front. So what I can show you is what the webinar opt-in page looks like. It's live. We actually ran one on Saturday, and I say a webinar, it's more a virtual event. And then that was free. And then there we did, recently we just done a 7.5% on the day. So it's not amazing conversions, but it's pretty good. And then we'll get another probably 10% with the, the consultants, which are our sales team, who will follow up, and, people have booked in some calls with more questions, and we do that. So do you want me to show you that stuff?
I want to see it, but I want to touch on something that you've been kind of talking about. So you just mentioned to build a proper business, you got to make sure and get in the right people, not just sell to anybody. Can you go deeper into that? For example, let's say you're selling to the right people, and then like 100 of the wrong people want to buy it. Why not take their money? What happens? Like, why are you qualifying them?
Okay, that's a perfect question. Firstly, because we actually want to help people, right? I mean, if you're in this game because you're just in it for the money, and I know you're going to hear this time and time over, but genuinely, you can't say it enough, only because of the industry we're in, of this, I call it personal development industry. You have to want to help people. If your end goal is the revenue line, that's good. And business needs money to grow. And there's nothing wrong with making loads of money. You should all make loads of money. But if you're not servicing the right person, all that happens is you get a bad name, it's unsustainable, longevity is impossible, retention is next to nothing, and you're constantly on a hamster wheel, which we've experienced, and at some level we're still experiencing today a little bit, because we're still honing in on our product. And you're just on this constant hamster wheel, and every month it's like a reset. And that's just not the game you want to be in when it comes to membership. You want to actually build a membership. You're like a gym, right? So you want people to keep coming and keep using the facilities. Now, I'm not going to comment on the gym industry, because 80% of the money they make is from people that don't go. But the point I'm making is you don't want that, especially if you're I call small, like under 10 million in revenue. If you're under 10 million in revenue, you want to build a little mini community in your little corner of the universe that love what you do. So I think it's really important to find out who you can help, what you can help them with, what problem you're obviously solving, and how quickly can you solve that problem. So what's the time to value as well, which is super important, because all you're going to get is refund rates, complaints, and there's no business there, right? You can be a great marketeer, and there's no doubt people like you and I probably came from that industry, the internet marketing and sales floors and all of this. But really, to build a proper business in memberships, you need to have a good membership, you need to have a good product, and that needs to be delivered to the right person. So I would do some exercises around finding out who you can help, who's the right person. And you know what? I will add something else. If you have been selling to anybody, that's not the end of the world right now, because you have data. So go and use those individuals to get feedback, so you can actually find out who the right person is. It's actually a little bit tougher when you haven't sold to anyone. So in the beginning, fine, cool. So anyone that buys it, but then get that feedback and find out who's the best person. So I even know that if you are on over £70,000 of income, so that's around $90,000 a year, I know I can. That's like the sweet spot for us. If you're like 70 to £100,000 a year personal income, not household income, and you're in a career and you're over 45, I know that we can help you, because we've seen so many thousands of people through our membership, and we got so much feedback. They're also the action takers, because they're career people. So they know how to get, some results, because they've been doing it in their career. So we know that that's the person you'll see on the landing page in a moment. We're very clear, this is not for this person, and it is for this person. And we're very clear in our copy with that as well. Did that answer your question? I hope so.
Absolutely. It's genius, because like you said in the beginning, you might have to sell to people, collect the data, find your market. But the issue with serving everybody is, for example, you and I are in a business group, and there's qualifiers. And if somebody came into that group who wasn't qualified and started asking basic questions and slowing it down for everybody, you and I might not want to be there, you know? So it's so many reasons to do it. Like you said right from the beginning, hey, if they're not the right person and you can't help them, don't take their money in the first place, right? But if you get the right people in there, like you said, you have very specific, over 45, career person, so on, then you can speak very confidently, yeah, you should buy this. We've helped people like you, and so on. Thank you again for going into that detail. I just thought it was a little nuance that that most people don't kind of understand at your level. Let's go ahead and look at the page now. And if you don't mind, yeah, talking us through what's happening.
So I'll just share Chrome for you. So what you're seeing here, so can you see my screen?
I can.
Should be able to see Chrome, right? Okay, cool. So basically what you're seeing here is our, virtual seminar landing page, right? The video is quite highly professional. By the way, it doesn't need to be like this in the beginning. In the beginning, it was just one angle, direct to camera, not even a lapel mic or a boom mic. But, we've got editors now. We've got, I've got 40 people in my team now. So we've got quite a high level video sales letter here that is just to register. And then as you scroll down, the copy is speaking to that audience. So this is exactly what I wanted to highlight, really. Attention career professionals who want to build their wealth without working additional hours or taking high risks. That's what we do. It's not a big thing we do. We're not trying to teach you to be day traders or anything like that. These are stats that will relate to that person. Most career professionals don't say they save enough money. This is a real stat. So we're really talking in the copy to that audience, all right? And then we invite them and so on and so on. As you scroll down, it tells you a bit about the event. But what I want you to see a little bit here is that as we scroll down, obviously by the way, as much social proof as possible is always important. So we actually embed out, I don't know if you guys have Trustpilot in the US, but Trustpilot is huge in Europe. So using that more, this is our private community. So this is our Facebook group that you get with the membership, and you can see people are winning, making money. Great, brilliant. And then as you come down, actually through the page, quite a long sales letter, we introduce your trainers. But I think where the key here is, if you get to this point and you're still reading, we just want to reassure you that this is for people that are actually looking for not looking for get rich quick. So that is also here in the copy as well. And I'm actually trying to find out where we put that, but it is in here. And we say, look, this is for career professionals, action takers. This is not, so it's actually here. So what makes this summit distinctively exceptional is the quality of its participants. We don't entertain people who lack work ethic, no patience, want to get rich quick. But if you're a career professional and you want financial secure retirement without adding more hours, you should consider this mandatory, right? So we're really honing in on the copy there. So I just wanted to point that out to people. But once you attend, essentially, this is, if I click on here, right? This is what I would recommend most people look at as well. Okay, and I'm going a bit salesy here rather than membership, or marketing, but we'll go into membership and that in a moment. But what we've got here, and this is mainly directed at Europe and UK. So we have really 3 tax brackets in the European market. So we ask for your tax bracket. The more tax you're paying means, frankly, the higher tax you're paying, the more we can help you, because that means you're earning a certain level of income. So when you fill this out, we get that data, and we know that percentage of people that are going to be there at the training as well. We know who they are, and it really does help us. And we do this on all of our lead magnets, by the way. This question, it has dropped opt-in rates, but by 2%, nothing major to hinder any of the funnels. And we're starting to get data that allows us to really talk to the right people. Because if you're in this 20%, we just know that we can't help you right now. So we just send you off to something more free or a very low ticket offer. But if you actually put in, your 45%, we know we can definitely help you. So we send you to, put you into that membership sales funnel, essentially. So that's the landing page. That's that there. And then once you attend the webinar, we really use Keep a lot, right? This is a Keep order form with GoSpiffy. And as you can see, they're still using Infusionsoft, but this is an Infusionsoft order form. And it really this is what we send you to when we're on that virtual seminar. And this is the value stack, right? This is what you get. You're getting a 12-month membership. And this is all connected to Keep and Memberium. And what happens is this just does everything for us. Literally, it's all automated. Once you sign up here, within 2 to 3 minutes, you've got your login, Memberium's triggered off, it's given them the appropriate tags. Sometimes we have, added tags that we have to add in because we give some bonus content and things like that. But that's all done in the back end of Keep, connecting to Memberium, which connects to WordPress. So really smooth, and that's it. It's really sounds simple, but it is simple, but it does have a process to it, and that's what we do. So, yeah, that's the sales part.
Yeah, I gotta say, when you say it sounds simple, I was gonna say your pages here are a clinic. Your sales
trying.
page is beautiful. You're doing all the things, right, that you're supposed to do. So what I love about talking to somebody like you and knowing that this works is then I think people should go look at your page knowing it works, because I can go look at a beautiful page, but I don't know if that page is converting or not, right? But you showing this and saying, hey, this is working for us. This is real, right? I think people should go, if obviously I assume you're not uncomfortable with this, they should go and model your page, right?
100%. And I'm happy to even give you anything afterwards so people can access this stuff. And because this is actually a live enrollment, by the way. This was something we did Saturday. We're now on a Wednesday. So we did this last Saturday, and this is now going to shut in 3 hours, right? This is all automated, and it shuts, and then it says it's expired, and then you have to wait till next month, because we want to enroll people and we want to onboard people with, I'm not saying this is scalable long term and we want to get to the tens of thousands of members, but right now this works for us because of capacity of my team. We actually onboard you. We actually have physical people that coach you here, right? This is not just watch some videos. So this will expire, but I can give you screenshots and PDFs and everything like that. Please feel free. It's not perfect, but it definitely works for us, for sure.
Oh, it's beautiful. And you mentioned the Trustpilot thing. That is so huge. And the fact that it's embedded, it's not as big here for sure. People could use whatever, but that social proof is awesome, because if I was on your site, and this is no offense to you, if I didn't know you and I was on your site, the whole time I'm thinking, is this a scam? Right? Like the whole time.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't blame you, by the way, because, we're in a really scammy industry, unfortunately, and we are trying to get out of it, and we're trying to differentiate ourselves as much as possible. But look, every time you're in I think anything that's untraditional education is online course world. I expect you all to be very cautious. You have to be, even if you're selling, funnel building or sales training or, anything like that, how to become a consultant, all of these things, it's super important. I can't tell you how important social proof is. It's one of the key elements of how we bring clients on. They want to see, and that takes time, by the way. And I get it. Like, just so you know, our membership is now 2,000 a year. It started off at around maybe 500, and then we tested another price point. Then it was 1,000, and we incrementally put it up to also get the right client in. So don't be afraid. I would say just one little tip to just sell it in the beginning. Get for not for profit. I know it's hard, but if it's like a side hustle you're doing, don't do it for profit. Get your testimonials, get your case studies, and trust me, they will serve you forever. So that's one thing I would also say as well.
Yeah. Like you said, serving the people, especially in the beginning when you don't yet have a name and so on, it's totally worth giving it away for free or at a loss to get that testimonial to leverage into future profitable clients,
100%, 100%. Cool. Shall I show you inside a bit? Do you want to see what it looks like?
Would love to see it. Yeah.
Cool. So essentially we have 3 offerings, right? So as you see, I prepared this earlier. So this is once you've logged in. Okay. So this is all Memberium shortcodes. Frankly speaking, there's nothing here that you cannot do. I mean, it's so simple. It's ridiculous when you want to build it. Well, look, the first part of it can be a little bit complicated if you're new, but once you learn like how to use the Memberium shortcodes and things like that, this is what the code behind this is Memberium shortcodes. So you can buy 3 levels of our membership. We've got this, I said, the trading club, the crypto club, and then we've got our gold fast track. This is our mentorship, more 1-year coaching product where you're actually physically put into a cohort of only 15 to 20 individuals. And we open that every month as well. And that's actually £10,000 a year. That's a very high-end product. So these are the ones that most people are in. So what I'll show you is, dependent, again, it's all Memberium based, is that dependent on what you've bought, will depend on what you see here, because what you could also see here is no access, or it says locked. I think that's what we have there now. And then you can click and inquire about that membership level. But you'll literally, this is all tags that give you what you're seeing here. So you'll see the squares, but you won't have the access button, essentially. So I just have all access. So that's that. And then when you log in, so whatever membership you have, what you're seeing, brother, this is all one WordPress install. This is not 3 sites in one. It's all one WordPress install. You can see here URLs, and also good thing, I think it's Memberium. You might have to tell me this, but you can't go now Crypto Club dashboard. If you don't have the tag, it won't show you that dashboard, right? You can probably go to that link, but don't be fooled, guys. You cannot go to that dashboard. So, and I think that's a Memberium thing as well. So what you're seeing here is a dashboard of when you're a newbie, what you see, which ongoingly is being updated. So, you know, if you've been here for a while, this will change. These things will change over time, and that's managed by the team that manage the club. You've got your onboarding video. You've got all here on the sidebar is basically where you access all the content, webinars, live support, and things like that. As you scroll down, what you'll see here is you can see these are all integrations, actually, funny enough, with Buddy Boss is what's behind this as well. So we've got an integration with Zoom. You can see your recordings here. These are like post, let me just mute it. These are like old webinars that we've ran. You can see one of our coaches hosting a webinar here. So, and he's going through some options. So it's all quite accessible. You've got your courses. This is what I wanted to show you. So when we say courses, we actually give you a roadmap guide to what we think you should be doing. But what we don't do, and it's very different with us than some other people, I believe, because you can jump in at any point of the roadmap. And the reason we've done that is, again, back to surveying your clients. The ideal client has some level made some investments in their past. So they were getting fed up that they had to watch all introductory stuff when they just wanted to know, how do I do this VCA strategy of yours? So we were like, okay, cool. So we opened it up. Now you do have to complete all of these modules to get to the next video, for example. So if I go here now, you're going to see, look, I've got to go back, but you don't have to watch the get started stuff in order to get right into the meat, right? And that was just a survey done, and that was information given to us by the ideal client. So that's why we did that. We've got workshop recordings here that you can access. Again, all very, you've seen this, Mika, it's all standard templated stuff, guys. This doesn't take a lot to build out. This is all, you know, WordPress, Buddy Boss templates, LearnDash templates that are out there, the trading tools. Now, this is something I will go into, if you don't mind, is we do build our tools so you're not using Excels or Google Sheets, because so we have live pricing in our membership club. So this is actually custom code, and it's a calculator that is based on the strategies we teach you. So it shows you all your entry points. You can do chart analysis in the membership. Now, this is definitely not off the shelf. This has been developed. This has been, you know, embedded, and this calculator here, if I go up, sorry, you can just search literally any stock you want, and it should, there we go, Amazon. And it then will give us fetching the data. And this is all behind the scenes stuff going on. So this is really cool as well, because our members can really just start calculating their investments through how we train them using an online tool like this as well. So that's most of it, really. That's it, really. And you've got your webinars. Again, you can access everything here. It is quite simple, as I said. It actually isn't that complicated. But what I just want to reiterate, it's not like a one-man band shop, right? There are people behind this. There's, as I said, I have 40 staff members now. So there's a lot of manpower behind even just what you're seeing here, because it is got a mixture of live, and we do run workshops, and we do have community managers and all of this kind of stuff to keep the retention as high as possible, but also ensure you get success. So when you really want to scale out a membership, the website is the first step, but there's more to it than that as well. I would say that too. So do you want me to show you? I'll show you the other ones as well, actually. So, okay, if you also have access to all the levels, you can access all the levels here on the top left. Again, same template, same layout, just different branding, same stuff. Crypto courses are here, slightly different roadmap, but built a roadmap out for you. So we feel that this is the way you should, if you're a complete beginner, this is how you should start this. And then we go through the modules there, training tools again, pretty much the same layout. And as you can see here, we've got 2 calculators in the crypto one to help you based on our, our strategies. So we want to just look at some BTC. It will grab the live price of BTC there for you right now. You can even change the currency as well if you want to, and you're based in the UK. So we've done some work, as you can see here. We even have alerts, right? You can literally say, oh, I want to go in at this price, and you can set yourself an alert, and then they will list them. They will list them here for you. So there's a lot going on here, to be honest, that maybe can be underestimated if not explained. In the gold group, same thing, just another skin, just more advanced training, basically. So that's our membership, buddy.
Dude, this is amazing. I have a couple
Okay,
questions.
cool. I'm glad. Yeah, sure.
So first of all, I want to say that the general approach to this, and you can correct anything I say that's wrong. I might make some assumptions, is that you are using just best in class tools, and you're not trying to complicate them initially. You're like, I'm just going to use this template. I'm going to use what they basically tell me to use. And then you've layered in a couple. So first of all, it's the way you've arranged those tools, right? Because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, I'm sure it took a while to dial this in, but you've got quite a bit presented here. Like when they come in, they can see and feel the value all around them versus having to dig for it. But you did it in such a way that's not overwhelming. It's easy to browse. And then the fact that it's consistent across the 3, so they have a little bit of, once they understand one, it's easier to understand the others. So that's just a comment saying, it seems like you're maximizing the technology. You're not saying, oh, I got to go custom build it so it's different and special because I feel special, right? You're saying, no, I mean, this stuff is good on its own, bring it out. And then where I do need to customize is this calculator or this, stock chart or whatever. And by the way, you're doing my favorite thing in the world, which is you're starting to blur the line between a membership and a SaaS, because once you start providing functionality in there, then, they're kind of paying for not just content, right? So cool. So cool, by the way, the way you have your 3 sites presented with the portal, the way they're just different skins. A specific question is, tell me about this daily timer in the upper right, because I saw that in all 3. I'm intrigued.
Nice, good. So we encourage everyone to only spend 20 minutes a day at maximum, right? This is not an income replacer. This is a pillar of wealth. That is a 5, 10, 15-year plan that we're teaching you to build. So this is literally a 20-minute timer. So when you go in, you can just press start. And I should have probably done it at the beginning to see if you guys can see what happens. But basically after 20 minutes, it will then stop you and you have a choice to carry on. But it also just reminds you, look, you've done your 20 minutes. Congratulations. Well done. Do you want to carry on or shall we exit? And then you have that option. And we just want to encourage people not to look at stock charts for all day. This isn't day trading. We're not trying to teach you that. Now, there are some people that have become day traders from our stuff, but that's just not our core, message. So that's what that timer does. And literally you can just, reset it if you want. You can resume again and start again. Totally up to you. And we're actually going to customize this. So we're in the process of, this is what you were saying. This is really a basic piece of code. But what we're going to customize here is, and actually now we've created our own short code for this, which is great. So it can be placed anywhere on the site by someone who's not a tech person. But what we're going to do is you can actually then eventually, because we are getting more and more people that want to spend more than 20 minutes, but so you can customize this eventually and actually just choose the time. And then it will say to you, we're going to have like a calendar that shows you what days you've actually worked on your, investment portfolio. So you can track yourself and all of these things that we want to add, right? As you can imagine, we're just, let's add this, let's add this. So these are some things that we're working on, but essentially this counts you down to 20 minutes.
That is so smart. So cool.
Trying.
Did you pick that idea up from somewhere, or did you guys come up with that?
We had a UX and UI person support us for sure. We definitely knew that we wanted to have some sort of accountability or not. What I said is, look, I want to make sure that no one's spending all day on this stuff. And then they came up with it. Why don't we just give them a timer? I was like, all right, cool. And then that just worked. And now everyone loves it because when it actually reminds them to stop. And we've had great feedback on it. But then we've also had feedback like, can I just change it to 30 minutes? And I'm like, right, that's coming. Don't worry, that's coming. We're going to work on that. But yeah, so it was a mixture of, obviously, I'm not that smart. I just know this is what I want as the outcome. And then I get the team members to go, well, this is how we can get that outcome, you know?
Oh, it's awesome. My mind is going nuts with this, thinking of all the different industries. Because of course you're right. You don't want your people looking at charts all day, and I've done that. So I know what you mean. Like you can waste time for nothing. But I
For
also
sure.
think any membership could use a concept like that to say, hey, you don't have to come in and study all day. We understand you have a life. You're doing this, you're doing that. It's a simple commitment. It's bite size. And even though this is, I wouldn't say you're forcing it, right? They can get around it. It's almost a little bit of almost a placebo, but you're saying, hey, we want you for the long term. We don't want you binge watching or binge whatever, and get back to your work, go make money that you can invest. Just so smart, so smart.
Yeah.
Um,
And that brings it back to that message, right? I think there's been a core theme here is just find out who you're serving, right? And I know that in the beginning, if you are starting out, that isn't going to be as easy as what I have now. And by the way, it's never easy, right? I have to try and get feedback from 3,500 people. That's a nightmare, right? That is really difficult. Sometimes it takes 4 months just to get a survey filled out. But once you get that data and you serve and you understand who you're serving, you can't really go wrong in business, I find. And that's my experience. And this is the second membership company I've built. I've built one previously, which was slightly smaller around business development and sales training. And it's the same thing. Who were we serving? We knew that you had to really be doing $1 million turnover to take on our sales and development strategy, right? So, we made sure that that membership, and every time, and I think you'll know this in any business, I think for you, yeah, look, correct me if I'm wrong, and I might be teaching stuff that maybe might be wrong, but even with Memberium, a starter membership, yeah, you can help them, but someone like us, you can really can help, right? We can create layers with Memberium. We can add several different, like we're now about what you'll see if we get time to go into the back end is we don't have that many tags. There's only 3 core tags we have, right? Now we're going to see, and I'd love to do a follow-up maybe in 6 months, you'll start to see we're going to start adding 10, 20, 30 tags because we're going to cut this up now because we now understand our client and they don't all want, this strategy or this together. They actually just want this one. So we're like, okay, well, why would we not just give them that just at a cheaper price, right? So we are expanding and Memberium is going to allow us to do that because with a simple tag, you can hide whatever you want on this sidebar. Like literally, if I go here, there is a tag that you have to add in order to get this bonus content, which is called bonus content tag, right? So if we add that, you get some of this bonus stuff, which is a little bit more mindset driven. So I think, it's that theme of understand that client and then these mini little gimmicky tools, which still runs, as you can see here, still running no matter what club I'm in, really do help get your message across and allows the client to feel that they're being spoken to, they're being served because their problem, So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I think especially for your market, it's a good fit. You have different, you're doing things that accomplish differentiation from other brands, but it's not just for that purpose. You're doing them, it sounds like, because it's also like, oh, this is the right thing to do. This is what they actually need and will help them and create that testimonial. Here's what I want to do, because we are at the end of the hour and I want to be respectful of your time. I know we could probably go for another hour, but since you mentioned a two-part, since you mentioned a two-part, if you don't mind me following up and scheduling another one of these, we'll go into more detail and we can do it sooner or in a couple months, whatever. But John, before we go, for people who want to connect with you or they want, they actually need your products and whatnot, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you? You've been so generous with your knowledge. I'd love for people to connect with you.
Of course. I mean, honestly, just Google Investment Mastery. I mean, go to our website. We're on every social channel you can think of. YouTube is probably the place I'd start. So YouTube Investment Mastery, and we have an abundance of content on there. Or if we actually, one of the best places, let me just, if you don't mind me showing you, it's really what would help most people is just our newsletter. It's a free newsletter, investment-mastery.com/insider. It comes out every other week. You also get access to a bunch of free tools here. So this is, again, by the way, using Memberium behind the scenes, but this is a watered down version of what you just got presented or what people are buying. And you get access to a membership by also being part of this too. So this is a good place to start. The insider will be be a good place. But also YouTube, I'd say, is a good place to start too.
Excellent. John, you are the man. Thank you so much for coming on and answering my questions, showing your site. Really cool stuff. Well done.
No, man, I really appreciate it. And, kudos to you, because it does make it easier when you've got something like Memberium and working with our CRM, whether it be Keep or whatever people use. But, it is really simple for us to evolve the membership by using the right tools. And one lesson I think they need to take from you is just keep it simple. Don't complicate templates. They're there. You guys even have templates that people can download and use. Just start there and then evolve as your clients start giving you feedback. But the first thing you want to do is get people into a membership, get that feedback, and evolve as you get the feedback.
Beautiful. Thanks again, John.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.